everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be my March TBR, aka the list of books I'm hoping to read in March. Not gonna lie, it's a little ambitious. When is it not? Let's start with the ones that you guys voted for the book club. The first one, I'm very excited about it. It is The Shadow of the Gods, which was one of the contenders in the Goodreads Choice Award of last year. Somehow, I had read none of the books in the fantasy section, which never happens, but for some reason, I knew none of them. But this one is one of the ones that, it wasn't super high on the list, but I think it was a somewhat new release, and everyone that I know has given it 5 stars, which obviously I think we all want to find more books we're going to give 5 stars to, and I've been pretty lucky with fantasy, so I'm very excited. I don't know a lot about it. I know it's inspired by like Norse mythology kind of thing. Vengeance, revenge story, and obviously like old scary gods, clearly. So I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with this one. The last thing I need is to start another fantasy series, but it's okay. I'm excited. I like starting them, then I can decide which ones I should prioritize. So adult fantasy, our first book. The poll was actually fairly tight, but no worries, we're going to be reading all of them this year for sure. The next one is also for the Patreon Book Club because we're doing a classic challenge every 2 months. So we went through the first book. Now it is time to pick another one, and it's going to be by Bronte. It's going to be the Tenant of Wildfell Hall. My edition has a few more books, but the majority of this is that book, so it's still not a huge book for classic, but classics obviously take a little bit longer to read. I haven't read anything by this Bronte sister. I have read one book by both of the other ones, so I wanted to decide which sister is my favorite sister. I just want to read all of them, and I have been told that this is a pretty feminist classic, which isn't something you see a lot of, but apparently this woman wants to be like independent. I think she like leaves like a abusive marriage. Is that possible? Don't tell me actually. I want to not know when I get into it, but I'm really excited. I feel like so far the classic challenge has been going pretty well. I've been in the mood to read some of them, and this one I think we're gonna be enjoying too. In February, which we're gonna see in my wrap up by the end of the month, I did the 1 week, 1 shelf challenge, and there is one book I didn't have a chance to finish during that specific week. I might have time to read more. I think there's like 3 days left after I do like a whole week for each shelf, but I don't think I'm gonna have time to finish it, so let me include it in my TBR for next month. The Emperor of Almer Z, which is a book about cancer. Actually, it's a biography of cancer, and it was really interesting. I was enjoying it. I still have access to the audiobook, so I might continue that way, which I think really helped me push through, because nonfiction can be kind of heavy, and this one is like a fairly chunky one, so reading it in 1 week was a lot. I feel like as soon as I'm too busy, I'm too tired to read nonfiction, and I tend to read before bed, so I'm realizing that to read more nonfiction, which is one of my challenges this year, I need to adapt a little bit, but I'm about 60-something% into it. I had to pause it because this week, as I'm filming this, I'm doing like mystery thriller shelf, so I can't read this right now, but once I'm done with the one I'm reading right now, listening to, I will continue it as an audiobook because super interesting, kind of horrifying. It might not be as up to date as it could be because it was published, I think, 10 years ago, but it's been really interesting to see like what we know from like the first time we encountered cancer to like what we're doing. Well, in this case, I'm not super recent yet, but we'll see how far I get and how recent the information is. But yes, super interesting, a little depressing, but I'm really enjoying it. And it's definitely making you want to read more nonfiction, which you're going to see there's a haul coming soon, and there are definitely going to be more nonfiction. I've been really in the mood, which good for me. I feel like I'm always like, oh, I'm too tired to read nonfiction, but I've been finding a lot of really interesting ones, which I think is key to make you read more. So you'll see that soon. Speaking of, this is going to be my next haul. Actually, I'm going to vlog this because this is, let me start with the name, Cain's Jawbone, which is a really interesting book because it's kind of a puzzle at the same time. I believe it's a murder mystery that you have to figure out yourself. You have to rip off all the pages, and you can see it's only printed on one side, so you can put them on your wall and like try to like figure it out. I don't think I'm going to be able to solve it because I believe there's only like 6 people or something that solved it. That's what they say. So I don't think it's going to happen, but I cannot wait to see how obsessive I get with it because I feel like every time I'm like, oh, I'm not going to get that into it. I say that about romance, and then you see me in a vlog and I'm like way too into it. So I think we can expect me to like look a little cuckoo when I try to solve this, but I think it's gonna be fun. I wanted something different. I feel like I've been on and off in a slump because of like life stresses. So I think this could be a cool trick to do. I've been dying to do this because I got it a few weeks ago and then I knew I was doing my 1 week one shelf in February, so I didn't have time for it. As soon as March is here, this is gonna happen because I'm dying to know. It sounds so fun. Speaking about new books, Peter Swanson is coming out with 9 Lives at the end, mid-March, March 15. And I need to know. Mystery thrillers, I don't know anything about the book per se. I don't like knowing anything before I go into them. But I want to know how I feel about the author because the first book that I read by him was by far my favorite. And I feel like ever since it's been kind of up and down, but never back to 5 stars. So I think that this is going to be like a make it or break it kind of situation. But fingers crossed, I do enjoy it. I will vlog it if you're interested because once again, mystery thrillers, unless they're like 3 stars, usually I do have a pretty extreme reaction. So that could be also fun. Another newish release that I've been dying to read is Rock, Paper, Scissors because the author, I had read one more book by her. I think it was called The Last Time I Lied. Sometimes I Lie. Yeah. And I wanted to know how I felt about her also because I feel like I love the idea of that book and it started strong, but towards the end I felt like there were too many twists. I don't know if anyone can relate, but I feel like sometimes the authors are trying to really shock you, which I like, but there were just too many twists at one point that I kind of just lost interest. But I wanted to give her another shot, and this was part of the mystery thriller section in the Goodreads Choice Award, and I've been like informally trying to like read a couple because I didn't want to do the challenge again, but I'm still kind of doing it because they're new releases, so I want to know. So we'll see how I feel about this one, but I'm excited. I have that one as an audiobook, so hopefully that goes well. I also want to continue series and books that I've started because I feel like I have a few ongoing and I'm usually pretty good at not have that many, but life has happened. Like I said, I've been on and off a reading slump. I had to put this one down in the end of January because I was doing, once again, the 1 week one shelf. So this is Before They Hang by Abercrombie, which is an adult fantasy book. This is the second book in the series and I was enjoying it, like you see. But yeah, I had to put it down for the next challenge. So I need to actually finish it because I'm feeling like I'm going to forget about it. We don't want that. So I need to finish this one. I'm actually hoping to finish this series this year, so I need to actually continue. And speaking of which, this one, I'm going to put this book on the screen, my edition. I know I'm always saying it, but I hate it. But I read Dawn this year. I'm going to talk about it in detail in my February wrap-up because good. It's so freaking good. It's an adult sci-fi. It's definitely dark. You might want to look some trigger warnings if you are sensitive to certain things, but it's a first contact with aliens, but so different from anything else I've read. And I have read a good amount of first contact with aliens. It's like still my thing. And this is super interesting because humanity, we killed each other off, nuclear war, and aliens swoop in and like saved the leftovers. People that are still alive, and you follow main character trying to figure out, are aliens good or bad? Is their version of good compatible with us? And just trying to like survive through it. And I'm not going to go into more details, but the way it ends, I am so confused how 2 more books exist. Like how much better it's going to get, like in terms of quality of the book, and how much worse in terms of like horrible stuff happening. I can't wait. I literally can't wait. But yes, I'm a little nervous because I just have no idea where the author is going to go. But she's so freaking good at making you feel for the characters. Like the despair, the raw emotions. She's definitely becoming one of my favorite authors very, very fast. If you haven't picked up anything by her, do it. So good. I'm also planning on doing a reading vlog based on covers. I'm not someone that does like cover buys or like pick up a book just because it's pretty. So I'm trying to test if maybe that's something I want to do. There's one book for sure I will be listening to as an audiobook because I have to plan that in advance. As far as the other like on my shelves, we'll see when we get to that challenge. I'll pick one because I have a few books that I had gotten, they were given to me by a friend and I chose the ones that were pretty for this challenge. But for the audiobook that I plan, it's the Echo Wife, which was also actually released last year, so it's part of the Goodreads challenge, informally. If I remember correctly, this one is a sci-fi with clones, but that's pretty much all I know, so that's perfect for the challenge. And as far as the other ones on my shelf, I have a few contenders. And like I said, the physical one, I'll check on my shelf what I have that I just think is pretty. And we'll see if it's a good way to judge a book or not by its cover. I don't think it's something that works for me in general, but you never know. I might discover something. I think that's already a good amount, but I still have more books because I can't have a reasonable TBR, literally ever. I have been meaning to read this thing forever. This is by Sanderson. This is the Arcanum Unbounded. It's basically a collection of short stories, all part of the Cosmere universe. And I think I have read everything I needed to read before being able to enjoy this. I even put the post-its with like, okay, you have to have read like Ms. Bourne up to number 6, and then you have to have read the second book in the Stormlight Archives, which I have done. So I think I can finally just read all of them in one go. That's what I wanted to do. And it might help me also if I'm feeling ever slumpish, because they're shorter stories. So it's less commitment. Plus it's Sanderson. So I feel like even if I'm not enjoying something, it's still going to be at least a 3 or 4 stars. So I think it's going to be like a solid read for me. Very excited. I've been trying to not continue the Stormlight Archives because I'm trying to stretch it. So I think this might give me that little, it's going to hit the spot without reading the next book, you know? But basically the goal is to find another 5 stars because I need some. I have a few more audiobooks available at the library, but I think I'm going to leave myself that empty spot as like a mood pick because I have so many challenges planned for this month. So I want to at least be able to just, you know what, I'm feeling in the mood to read this, so I'm picking that up. So that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know which book on my TBR I should prioritize. Which one are you excited to read with me? Just let me know which books you're planning on reading in March, because I always like to add way too many books to my TBR, so why not add a couple more? Thumbs up, subscribe. I will be putting more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out, and I will see you in a coming video very soon. Bye.